Okay, so this is the first of a series of lectures that's going to be focused on the social regulation of emotions. So this is part one. And there are three major questions that we're going to be dealing with. First, what are emotions? Two, where do they come from? And three, what do they do? Now, this might seem like a bit of an odd subject because aren't these the kinds of questions that we should be going to psychologists or psychiatrists to get answers for? We think of emotions as being these things that are rooted in us as individuals, and the material that we're covering in the overall course deals with things that are sociological or criminological, so these socially determined phenomena. And aren't emotions not socially determined? Aren't they us? If there's anything that's individual about us, shouldn't it be our emotions? But one of the things that I'm going to be building towards as we move through this series of lectures is we're going to see how more and more our emotions are rooted in social systems, and that there are norms that govern our emotions, that govern how we feel. And just like any other kind of norm that are regulated, enforced, and punished, norms regarding emotions are also regulated, enforced, and when they're violated, they're punished. In other words, emotions, the things that we feel, can be socially deviant. They can be seen as socially wrong or incorrect or violations. So these three major questions become sociologically and criminologically relevant. They become relevant to the issue of deviance. So we want to address them. And these questions seem like they should be easy to answer, right? What are emotions? Don't we all know what emotions are? Don't we all know where emotions come from? Don't we all know what they do? I mean, we all experience emotions all the time. You're experiencing some emotion right now. So aren't we in a great position to know what they are? Why do we even need to ask these questions? They seem simple, but no, they are not simple at all. This is a weird analogy, but I want to try to illustrate what I mean when they're difficult to explain. So this is weird, but so I have a picture on here of someone tying their shoes. Now, we all presumably know how to tie our shoes, right? But have you ever tried to explain to somebody using words, so verbally, how to tie shoes? Now, just go ahead and try it. Well, you pick up the laces and you twist one around the other and you pull. You end up sounding vaguely, it's kind of crazy, right? It doesn't really make sense. You can't really communicate these things verbally all that effectively. You have to demonstrate how to do it. But you know how to tie shoes, but it's nearly impossible to really explain in any effective way how to tie shoes, how to teach someone to tie shoes. And emotions are similar. We're not teaching people to feel emotions, but we are actually, side note, we kind of are teaching people to feel emotions, but we'll get back to that. But when you try to explain what emotions are, it's similarly very difficult. So when we try to do so if I ask you, what are emotions? What you're probably going to do is either come up with synonyms for emotions, right? Feelings tends to be the most common one. Passion, sentiments, people can use these different words. Now, those are certainly connected to emotions, but they're synonyms. They're not definitions. They don't tell us what emotions are. They give us different words. We might mention particular emotions like happiness or anger or sadness, but those are examples of emotions. Those don't tell us what emotions are. We also might list situations where people feel different kinds of emotions. So we might say, well, people feel sad at funerals or they feel happy at weddings. Sure. But again, those examples tell us where people feel emotions. Those examples don't tell us what emotions are. It's very difficult, again, to explain what we mean when we use the word emotion. We just intuitively know what we mean, but we can't really explain it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through three different models of emotions. These are not the only models that are out there, but they are the ones that are going to be particularly relevant to us. The first is going to be pretty non-social. Right? So I'm talking about emotions as being socially determined and as being regulated and as potentially being deviant. Well, our starting point, which is really foundational, we need to go through, is the organismic model, which does not present emotions as social phenomena, but it's still important. Then there's the interactionist model. And then what we're really headed towards is the emotion work model, which is the one I'm going to really focus on and emphasize. And we're going to have a video on each one of these 3 different models. And so I'll see you for the next one.